Okay, good morning, guys. I'm sorry that I'm not here today. I'll probably be back for advisory, so if you want to come in and go over some of the stuff that I'm teaching over the video today, that would be great. But for now, I made a video lesson for you to go over your warm-up and your notes. And then you will have a quiz at the end of class today. So the warm-up is a really good review for the quiz, so listen carefully, okay? So number 1 says to find the slope of the problem. So on problem 1, we have a graph. The best way to find slope from a graph is using rise over run. So I'm going to use my 2 good points, which are already on there for me. That's nice. And I'm going to figure out, start at the bottom point, how many do I rise? And I go up 1. And how many do I run? And I go in the positive direction, 1, 2, 3. So I would say that my slope is positive 1 over positive 3. And that doesn't reduce anymore, so I can just leave it like that. So rise over run. Make sure that if you're going down or to the left, that's the negative direction, so you might need negatives in there. On number 2, I need to ask what my slope is about this graph. Well, let's look at this line. This is a vertical line. Therefore, it needs to have an undefined slope. It crosses the x-axis, and the equation for this is going to be x equals just a number. That's the trick that we learned last week. Okay, so vertical lines have an undefined slope. That's your answer for slope, undefined. Remember, this can make a U, like that. Okay, so VUX is not the answer, undefined is the answer, because I'm asking specifically for the slope. On number 3, you've got ordered pairs. With ordered pairs, we can use the slope formula, which is on your formula chart. You should have picked one up when you walked in. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Go ahead and label your points. X comes first, y comes second, x, y. And then just plug them straight into the formula and follow from there. So we've got y2, which is 7, minus y1, which is 9, over x2, which is negative 5, minus x1, which is 2. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. Negative 5 minus 2 is negative 7. And a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive, so my answer is 2/7. You can also put that in your calculator and it will reduce it nice and pretty for you, but make sure that you 2 negatives will make a positive, reduce any fractions if you need to. So that formula is on your chart. Make sure that you use it, and it's always good to label your points up there. On problem 4, we have a table. So slope from a table, easiest way to do it is change in y over change in x. So I'm going to look at 2 points, and I'm going to see how am I changing in the y. So how am I getting from negative 3 to negative 4? Subtract 1. How am I changing in the x? Going from negative 1 to 0, I'm adding 1. So my slope is going to be equal to negative 1 over positive 1, which reduces to negative 1. Okay, so this is a quick way for a table. This is a quick way for a graph. However, it's all the same thing as that. So if you like this, you can use that. Okay, just be super careful with your labeling and your negative signs and stuff. So let's try that again on number 5. Label the points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug into the formula. 4 minus y1 is 4 over 3 minus 6. 4 minus 4 is 0. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Anytime you have a 0, check it with your calculator. So if I do 0 over negative 3, I'll get that my answer is 0. 0 on top is okay, so my slope is 0. If my slope is 0, then I must have what type of line? Horizontal lines that have 0 slope. Horizontal lines have 0 slope, cross the y-axis, and are the equation y equals. So make sure that you know those. On number 6, we just have an equation, y equals 2x plus 5. Well, this is in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. I know that because y is by itself right there. Now, m is my slope, which is what's right in front of x. So look at your equation. What's right in front of x? A 2, so my slope is 2. Do not include the x in your slope. Slope is just the number, so just the 2 right there. And then this also tells me that my y-intercept would be 5. Okay, so that's the slope practice. You'll see that on the quiz. Use your formula chart. That's all on there. Number 7. 7 and 8 are using function notation, which we learned last week as well. Okay, so number 7 says, if m of x equals 2x plus 10, find m of 5. Notice the 5 is inside the parentheses, which means that it's going to go inside my equation for x. So I'm going to say m of 5 is equal to 2. I'm going to replace x with a 5 and then add 10. Type that in my calculator. 2 times 5 plus 10, can't see it, is 20. So I'll say m of 5 is equal to 20. Make sure that you know how to solve these. If they're inside parentheses, they go inside the equation for x. And then you just type it straight in your calculator. Now number 8 says if v of x equals 2x plus 10, find x when v of x equals 6. This is on the other side of the equal sign, so we need to put it on the other side of the equal sign here. Our keywords are we're trying to find x. We don't know what x is, so we have to keep x in there, unlike we did up here. So let's put 6 on the other side, and then leave this side the same. 2x plus 10. So I'm putting that all the way over here. Notice I still have an x in there. That's good. I'm trying to find x. So now I just solve it. Subtract over the 10. And I get negative 4 equals 2x. And then I'm going to divide by 2. And I should get negative 2 equals x. And that's your answer. Again, it tells you to find x. Your answer should be x equals. Here it doesn't tell you to find x, so that's why you actually get a number. There's a difference between these two. You are going to see these on the quiz. So take a second, look at them, make sure you know how to do that, and make sure you know the difference between the two. Okay, on the back, let's talk about some transformations. This is also on the quiz. So number 9 says f of x equals 5x plus 9, and it's translated down 2 units to create a new function g of x. Write an equation for g of x in terms of f of x. So remember how we always start these. When we want to write in terms of f of x, we don't care what that's equal to. I don't need to put that anywhere. All I need to do is write g of x, my new equation, and I always start by writing this, and then I stop. If I want to translate down 2 units, where do I need to put that 2? Down 2 is going to go at the end, so I'm going to close off my parentheses, and that goes with my sign. So if I want to go down 2, I'm just going to put a minus 2. Okay, because up and down transformations are at the end. And I'm done. Number 10, describe in words the change that happened from f of x to 2f of x. Think about the placement of this number. It's in front of f of x. It's being multiplied, and so that's going to tell me that it's going to be a stretch or compression. And since 2 is bigger than 1, I know that this is a vertical stretch by 2. So that number being first is going to be a stretch or compression. If it's bigger than 1, it's a stretch. If it's smaller than 1, like 1/2, it would be a compression. And if it happened to be negative, that would be a reflection. Okay, so those are the numbers that go first. They're going to be stretch, compression, or reflection, or a combination. Number 11, describe the change from f of x to f of x plus 3. Let's look at this number. This number is inside. Remember, inside, we have to think opposite. Inside the parentheses is going to move me left or right, but the opposite of the positive direction would be the negative direction, which would be left. So I'm moving left 3 units. 12 Describe in words the change from f of x to f of x plus 1. Again, where is this? Outside, which that tells me it's going to move up or down. Outside is normal, so the positive direction would be up, 1. 13, going from f of x to f of x minus 2. Again, that's outside. Minus sign means I'm going down 2. 14, f of x to f of x minus 5, which is inside. I'm going to move along the x-axis, so left or right. It's opposite. So opposite of the negative direction is the positive direction, which is right 5. So if you get some time before your quiz, I would look over that green sheet that has all the transformations and just make sure that you know those, because you can't use your green sheet on the quiz, okay? So inside versus outside, outside being multiplied, all right? So keep all those straight. Okay, next we are going to do a lesson on direct variation. I'm going to go through the notes with you in another video. So the sub's going to pass out a notes sheet that I'll walk through with you. Then you'll do some classwork practice, and then you'll take your quiz. Direct variation, what I'm about to teach, is not going to be on the quiz. The quiz is just like the warm-up. Transformations, slope, and function notation. Okay, so she'll probably give you about 5 minutes or so to study before your quiz, but we do have to note direct variation, so I'm going to teach that really quickly, and then you'll have a homework assignment over that.